My name is Daryl Foster, here, and this is my commander, Maelstrom Wonder. So, as you guys can probably tell, I have sectioned this stuff into piles like artifact, creature, sorcery, enchantment, yada yada yada. If you haven't noticed yet, my creature pile is enormous because this is going to be what I'd refer to as a all-star deck. It's just the creature comes out and it's a problem. Hence why I've named the deck The Problem. So I'm gonna jump right into it. A couple of things that I like to do with this deck. This deck's, well, Arcanus is pretty nice, you know, having extra things. The fact that Maelstrom Wanderer gives you haste makes cards that are relatively turn into things that are actually so much more worth it, allowing me to push through to, you know, different, better cards one way or another. So I have Arcanus in the deck for obvious reasons. He draws cards, put them back in his hand, you know, one way or another. And he's a 6-drop, and that'll come in later. Actually, I'll just find the card, honestly. There's no point in that coming in later. With Emoti. Theme of this deck is going to be random Cascade. I don't know what I'm going to get up the top. There's only 3 ways for me to possibly manipulate it, and I like that. I like the fact that that's the case. So I have Emoti, who any spell with mana value 6 or greater has Cascade. It's pretty nice, all things considered, especially when the majority of my stuff has, in fact, 2 purposes in the deck. It is going to be a big creature that cascades into other things and is a problem when it hits the field, or ramp me in one way, shape, or form so I can cast those big creatures that are problems one way or another. Kodama is Kodama. I'm not gonna go into that very much. It's just a good stuff card. Itali, again, free things at the top for everyone's deck is always nice. A lot of people don't really understand or remember that the things that are exiled don't come back. They're gone. And that's always fun to be that person. Squee is here for the food chain combo. We'll get there when we get there, but it's pretty straightforward. Old Gnawbone, treasures, simple. Just big things are big things. Same with Cloud. Nezahals for a card draw. It's really nice. Like, I really enjoy just all these big things that, well, I mean, I've said it like 20 times at this point, that make the game have to react to me. Draco's Head doesn't get enough play, and that's the only reason he's in here. I don't see anyone running him ever at all, and he's a nifty little card. But it's the fact that he has haste. So this 7 mana, even though I rarely ever have to ever cast him, this 7 mana card that does nothing when it hits the field now immediately becomes an issue. Hence the name, The Problem with the deck. It hands out 10 damage off rip on top of his own 7 in the air because like I said, Maelstrom Wanderer gives everything haste on top of cascading twice. Gwenna is Gwenna is a fun card to put in the deck because this hits so hard and so often, especially with how many things. I don't have to cast the stuff for the actual mana cost. As long as the creature spell has 5 or greater power, I'm untapping her. I can just keep floating the mana extra for whatever else I end up coming into. And again, I almost never know what I'm going to get off the top of this deck. It's so much fun. Jingataxius to make... I don't even use it for the copy spell, honestly. It's just here to be an issue to slow everyone else down while I continue trying to run away with the game or catching up, depending on my board state. Sirach, because I don't like being countered as much as you don't like being countered. Also, Trample's nice, but it's mostly the I don't like being countered part. Coma, because, well, nobody likes Coma, and that's in the deck. As simple as that. No one enjoys dealing with Coma, and after I've gone our table around, no one usually can deal with Coma. Super fun. Balefire Dragon, because many people, when I first started building this deck and brewing it, just ran me over. Like, sure, I had a whole bunch of big stuff, but they just swarmed me, and it's like, oh, well, fuck. Shit. But Balefire Dragon says, well, that's cute. If I'm getting through, all your stuff is coming with. That's always nice. Hullbreaker Horror is Hullbreaker Horror. I'm not going to get into that. And then Bloom Tender, it's a 3-color deck with green in it. Why would I not run Bloom Tender? Teamer Sabertooth is so I can usually bounce my own commander so I can cascade again. Yeah. Shardless Agents Cascade. Flamekin gives my commander Cascade. Oh, you're going to notice this probably at some point, but I'll put this out now. This card, Apex Devastator, is the only card in the entire deck that costs more than my commander. Everything in the deck can be cascaded into. Although there's only one card in here that's actually will be sad to see cascaded into, and that would be Cyclonic Rift. Everything else, cool. Ewit is, it's Ewit. Verdant Sun's Avatar, because in my opinion, a lot of people don't think this part through. You need to sustain. Life gain matters so much more than you think, especially when I'm building a deck that is comprised completely of problems. People are going to be like, that guy's a threat, let's beat him to death. Good times. But regardless, yeah. Terror of the Peak is one of the win cons in the deck because, well, I mean, direct damage is nice, and if I'm cascading for free, why wouldn't I want to also just add in a Maelstrom Surge that costs 1 less and is a creature that can attack on the turn it comes out with Maelstrom Wanderer? Yeah. Tyrannix Rex, because, I mean, I don't know, it's a 7-drop big boy that has a bunch of keywords. Why not? Pathbreaker Ibex, because combat damage is typically how I win with this deck. Again, why not? Good stuff, Ancient Copper Dragon. Ethereum Horn Sculptor. So I'm going to point this out, and you'll probably experience it if you ever build a deck like this, or if you have your own. You're going to have nothing to do sometimes. An Ethereum Horn Sculptor gives you something to do almost every turn if you have the mana to do it. Because he comes with Cascade, he's a 6-drop, so all the 5 or less things, can happen in this and that. And you can bounce them back to your hand if you've got nothing else to do, and people have murdered your commander for the umpteenth time. Aurora Phoenix is nice because it has Cascade, and it comes back after I Cascade on cast trigger, and that's nice. Just, again, it's more things to do. Oracle's Oracle, Bloodbraid Elf is more Cascade. Sakashima's Protege is fun because I don't really get to choose ultimately what I'm going to get. It's pretty cool. I like the randomness of this deck. Again, I'll probably repeat that a couple of times, but I really do. Dockside, cool. I have a Teamer Sabertooth. I could Dockside Teamer if I want to, but that's not why it's here. It's just so I can ramp out my commander faster. Again, the deck kind of runs on the commander doing its thing. Shaman of Forgotten Ways, an alternate win con. I rarely do, but people see it and freak. It's great. Everyone loves Biorhythm. Nobody loves Biorhythm. Llanowar is Llanowar. That's the creatures, and if you again, this pile is enormous, but I have a lot of fun with it. I'm gonna go into the enchantments next. So, Song of the Dryads. It's a 3-drop enchantment aura, and it turns this is what this card reads to me. I'm gonna point this out. It turns target player's commander into a forest. That's it. I don't use it for anything else. It is here to make someone else slightly sadder. Food Chain is Food Chain. We all know Food Chain. Anybody subscribed to this channel knows Food Chain at this point. Greater Good. Card draw is nice. Card draw, protection, regenerate and hexproof for my stuff is nice. I'm trying out Virtue of Strength. It looks interesting, and the fact that it has it grabs a creature or a land from my graveyard back to my hand is nice, in case things that I wanted to stay out got dunked, because, it should. But again, it costs less than my commander, so that's all that really mattered to me. But I'm trying out Virtue of Strength. Ristic Study is Ristic Study. But yeah. So I'm going to go to my artifacts next. Notice there's not very many because I don't run a lot of rocks. I have a lot of creatures that tap for mana. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, and Chromatic Lantern are all meh. Everyone knows what those are. This one's a fun one. It's called Crystal Shard. Crystal Shard. Reading what this card does, in my opinion, through my glasses, is 3 mana to put on the field, tap blue, tap this, return my commander to my hand. That's what it's for. It's to return my commander to my hand. Or if, people decide to make the mistake of tapping out, I mean, why not? Shenanigans are shenanigans. Why would you not? But it's usually just so I can cascade my own commander repeatedly, hence the deck. Scroll Rack, actually it's the only way to consistently top deck manipulate, because people are like, oh, why don't you run all these tutors? I don't really want to. This is supposed to be a fun deck for me, and this is how I enjoy building it. But Scroll Rack is just it's too good to take out. It just is. I'm sorry to say it just is. Yeah, and Chroma's Memorial, it's keyword soup that I get out for free with my commander. Why not? The land package that I have in the deck, fetches or whatever. Yeah, but only interesting lands in here. There's 2, well 3 I guess. I have the Hideaway Green land because everything's big and why not. I have Homeward Path. So there's a little story for this one for me. Homeward Path is tap to add colorless or tap each player gains control of all creatures he or she owns. I got robbed of all of my creatures. I had almost pretty much vomited out my deck, and then dude took control of every one of my creatures, so my deck just sat here. Didn't do anything after that. I was very sad. I was like, I don't have a way around this. So I didn't play this deck until I was able to find a Homeward Path again and put it in the deck. It goes in all my creature decks at this point now because I'm tired of being robbed. No one likes this. Minamo, because, well, I mean, untap things, block, the usual shtick. But yeah, the rest of it's just fetches and all that stuff. But the bigger point there was just the Homeward Path, to be honest. It's such a necessity in this deck, especially when I'm not running a lot of counter spells, because Cascade into counterspell is pretty pointless. Alright, let's go to the instance. World of Tutor, again, one of the few ways I can actually top deck manipulate. Pongify is removal. Seething Song is here to cast my commander early, and it has done it almost every single time I've drawn it. I don't ever draw this in the late game for some reason. Beast Within is Beast Within. Turnabout. This is a card I didn't know about until this set dropped. This is a cool card. I like cards, and you'll see this in a minute, that have modes and gives me options for my instance. Because a lot of the instances that come out, people are like, oh, you're not running enough counter spells. Like, no. Or, hey, bounce this or bounce that. Like, I like things that give me options because, the board state changes. Like, situational things change your mind on what you do or do not need. And cards that do multiple things and only take up one card slot in the deck are way more valuable than most people give credit for. But yeah, I love Turnabout. The artifact, creature, or land, tap all untapped permanents of the chosen type that target player controls, or untap all those tapped permanents of that type that player controls. That's nice. It allows me to float extra mana if I want to respond to this and float all my mana and choose myself. I almost never choose somebody else unless I need to get through to kill that player because they're too much of a problem. But that's the only time I really use this. Otherwise, I'm untapping all my land so I can play more things from my hand. This card is so much fun in this deck, and I don't see any lists running this with Maelstrom Wanderer. Release to the Wind. 3 mana instant speed. Exile target non-land permanent for as long as that card remains exiled. Its owner may cast it without paying its mana cost. Pay 3 mana, target my commander, he's gone. Then I can cast my commander for free? For free, I can cascade him twice. Why would I not? This card is so slept on, and nobody runs it. You know what else? This could be spot removal, too. Hey, you've got a Blightsteel coming my way? Cool. Now you don't. You can cast it for free, though, but it doesn't have haste, and it's not hitting me this turn, I'll tell you that much. Oh, man. So much fun. Like I said earlier, the counter spells that I do run in here have modes. Cryptic Command, Mystic Confluence, and Archmage's Charm all have modes. Counter this or do this. It matters because, again, if any of you who are trying to build this deck or have built this deck have ever cascaded into a counter spell, you know the feeling. The hit or miss, the gambling, you know that. Oh, well, that was a womp womp moment, huh? Nexus of Fate. No, this is not a turns deck. I'm just putting it in because of value. Why would I not want to, do things with my deck an extra turn? Just the one. And the fact that it reshuffles makes it take up, in my opinion, the worth of multiple extra turn spells in one card. These next 2 cards are the only 2 cards that I actually don't want to cascade into. Cyclonic Rift, because I want to overload it almost every time. And Shamanic Revelation, because I want to choose when I draw these cards. Otherwise, every card in this deck can be cascaded into safely. Delayed Fire Blast, I only want to cascade into. I do not want to cast this as it is. But getting a free 5 damage to each opponent and each of their creatures, that's phenomenal. So it's a one-sided board wipe, which if anyone plays board wipes, that's like the best kind of board wipe. Alright, and this will be the last... this will be the last card, honestly, that I'm going to be going over, because the rest of these are just ramp. I mean, you guys have seen ramp before. It's nothing new. Ramp is ramp is ramp. Primal Command. Being able to shuffle my graveyard back is nice. Being able to shuffle someone else's graveyard is nicer. I'm looking at you, all you freaking Golgari players. Like I said before, target player gains 7 life. You could be that guy, or you could be smart with it. That guy being, hey, I don't want you to die yet. You can have 7 more life. People are like that. It'd be like that sometimes. The non-creature permanent back on top of their library, that's also really nice because, again, it's technically removal. But being able to tutor for a creature card is what I'd often end up using for this. One way or another. Hey, I need this to solve this problem right now. Go grab it. Boom, done. But yeah, and I don't know if you want to put the lands out here. I have the really, really pretty Phyrexian lands from the complete bundle. But overall, that should be about it. I appreciate you guys.
Commander, and that's my
commander, Maelstrom Wanderer.